Hey everybody, Robin here. I want to wish everybody a very, very happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and anything else that's happening out there, happy, happy everything, because we need all the happiness that we can get right now. That being said, that's my line, that being said, because there's so much shit happening and, you always have to, plunge the other way. I have a bedtime story for you. I'm a writer, so I write children's books, which makes life bullshit out there very difficult to handle when you're trying to explain this to children. It's like you just can't. You can't. I try. Having a tough time putting into words what's happening to make kids less afraid. And it's very tough to do. So let me tell you a bedtime story. So how does it start? Once upon a time, there was an egocentrical baby who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He learned a lot from his father, which most children do. And you hope that it's always good stuff. But sometimes it's not. And the little boy, with the silver spoon in his mouth, grew up to be a prick. He didn't have a lot of love as a child, and we can give him that. However, I once heard a line that said, fucked up children, can sort of blame their parents. Fucked up adults get therapy. Donald, you've missed that line. You're 79 fucking years old. But let me get back to the story. So this little boy with a silver spoon in his mouth who had no love, was raised by a nanny and had no friends whatsoever because he was such an arrogant asshole from the moment he was born. Lies about getting into schools that he never was. Creates universities and takes money from people that can't afford it. And there is no university. Pals around with a pedophile and lies about it. He was never on the plane, but he was. I'm trying to think. I actually stayed at the Trump Tower once. Had a beautiful, beautiful room. The water had his name on it. The magazines had his name on it. The steaks had his name on it. And every room had a magazine, a bottle of water, and everything. And you got a little tired of hearing Trump. But it was all glitz. It was all the jewelry. Bottom line is, if you needed like room service or something, you had to wait. It depended, actually. It depended on how much your room was worth. And you had to see how long you could wait. But that's not even part of the story. So this young man who's growing up finds that he's handsome. A lot of handsome guys out there. And he can have his way because he has the money. Now, do you think that mentality has changed since he was in his 20s? This is a man who married immigrants but now hates them. He was going to have 5 young men, black men, executed. He did a full-page ad in New York City for a rape in Central Park that these young men, never did. And it was because they were black. Had they been white, he never would have done that. He was racist from day one, as his father was as well. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And we know that when we see the MAGA morons. It's sort of like, I was telling somebody the other day, you Democrat, Republican, when you're living under your parents' roof and you're from 0 to 18 or 20, whatever, you tend to always side with your father's a Republican, you become a Republican. Because you don't know any better and you're not interested in investigating it, so you just sort of go along with the flow. But then there's the moment when you move out and you grow up and you make decisions for yourself. You become independent. And that's when you make your choices. You investigate the person you're going to vote for, or even your friends. You decide who your friends are going to be. They're not going to be derelicts. They're not going to be people that feed off of the sadness of other people, like Trump always did. He didn't have any friends. I think Jeffrey Epstein was like his first real friend. And now he even says he wasn't friends with him. But we have all the documentation that says he was. So he learned to lie early on. The guy that actually was helping him early on in his career was gay. But he helped him. So he took what he could from this man, but hated his lifestyle. So he takes from the MAGA morons what he can, and then he throws them by the wayside when he's done with them. We've seen that many, many times over. How many people have been involved with Trump and he loves them one minute and he throws them out the next minute? And that big fat-lipped bitch who talks for him, you know, she has his face like she's supposed to freak you out by her expression. You don't freak me out, bitch. You know, what tells me is, like, between the eyebrows and the lips, I can't focus on your fucking eyes. And they're lying eyes. But anyway, let's get back to the story. So now, you know, the people of the United States who didn't vote for him, and many of them didn't. He did not win this election by a landslide. It was rigged, and we can actually now cry rigged. But we don't do that, do we? We should. We should now. We should be a little bit nastier. We're too nice. We're too nice. We let things... You know, how many interviews have you seen where they talk about Trump, and I wish one person would just say, he's a fucking asshole, or he's fucking nuts. Everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid. Why? Because the Supreme Court gave him immunity. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, and we're supposed to sit back and watch this as he kills people on these boats. You know, somebody once said to me, well, if your child overdosed, you would want him blowing up those boats. He doesn't know that there's any drugs on those boats. That's like us being on the Royal Caribbean for a vacation, and and another country blows up the boat because they think somebody has marijuana in their suitcase. I mean, seriously. I don't know why they're not showing us where they see the drugs on this fucking boat. They haven't showed anything. Supposedly, they're supposed to be on buoys so that if something happens to the boat, the drugs float up to the top. We haven't seen anything. And the two men, I don't care if they were waving hello to the drone or saying, help me, or thinking it was a friend, so come and get us. They survived the explosion. You don't massacre them. You take them into custody and you question them. It's very simple. It's called being humane. Because these people who are all considered like drug lords to Trump, it's not about the drugs. He wants the oil. He's misled us there too. It's not about the drugs. He doesn't give a fuck if your kid overdoses on fentanyl, or he'd be working with Mexico. He'd be dealing with Mexico. But he's not dealing with Mexico on the fentanyl problem. He's dealing with Venezuela because he doesn't like the guy, because the guy that's running, and I'm not saying that the guy's nice. I'm just saying there are methods of going about getting somebody out of office, which is what we're supposed to be doing right now with our own. And he's not following the rules. And he's not telling the American people what's going down. So we are like, we got blinders on. We got to take those fucking blinders off. We got to know what's happening. We got to be assertive. We can't be nice anymore. This has gone too far in a year. Can you imagine what it's going to look like in 4? Now, here's another thing. The ballroom's not going to be ready until 2029. He's out of office in 28. Do you really think he's going to leave? Why would you build something that you can't enjoy? It's not Trump. Trump doesn't build something he can't enjoy. I mean, seriously. So, do you remember what he said? You know what? Maybe you don't have to vote. You might not ever have to vote again. So what's going on behind the curtain? And have you noticed for the 2026 elections, he sort of said, yeah, we got to get out there. He's very melancholy, very low-keyed about what the Republicans need to do. Why? Because he's going to have that rigged. He's not worried about it. Democrats are working their asses off, and I think we've got a winning ticket. But all we need is Elon Musk's guys to go into the computers. So we could be hitting our heads against the wall right now. Think about it. We could do all we want to do, but if somebody's fingers are inside everybody's information, I mean, how many people owe certain things for tickets or whatever? How many people are being threatened, underlyingly, sending to collection for something stupid? And they freak out and they say, oh my God. And then they get contacted that, we can make that go away if you vote our way. The redistricting. Why now? Because Trump is not going to leave the White House before the ballroom is done. Are you serious? Would I build a house that I don't own and then leave it behind? And here's another question. I'm very good at questions. That's how I think through the process. All these big mahafs that are, investing in this ballroom, what percentage do all of them have on the White House? You don't give millions of dollars knowing he's out in 28. You give that kind of money when you know it's long term, not when it's momentary. It's just for like 3 more years, and it won't even be there for you to access. So what's going on there? So here's my point. It's Christmas today, and it's a day. Well, Putin doesn't get that because he's blowing everybody up on Christmas Day. It was supposed to be a truce, but he can't keep to a truce. Here's one other thing. The Epstein files. Putin not getting any tariffs. Trump being really nice to Putin. I know one of Netanyahu's big men was part of that human trafficking issue. I think Putin's bigger than that. And Trump will not relay anything having to do with Putin's people because that could be war. And Trump so wants to be in bed with Putin and China and North Korea. I mean, that would be the best orgy for him. But the people that are real people and normal and want peace, no chaos, great life for our children and our grandchildren, he wants nothing to do with them. And you can see it by his post at Christmas Day. Who does that? People are in mass. My friends are in mass. This is a very special day. And he's loading. He's putting his load on everybody. So don't have too good of a time. ICE does not take a rest. Everybody should still be fearful on a day where the person that you are acknowledging for this day was about peace, was about being kind to your neighbor, was about being kind to people who are less fortunate, people who don't have food, you give food. He's trashing all that, but the MAGA morons still believe, we're right. Whatever he's saying, he's like, he's like the chosen one. No, he's a fucking antichrist. So I can't steer you to the, I can steer you to the water, but I can't make you drink. But maybe, just maybe, and let's not wait until it happens. We have to voice our opinions, and we have to do something about it. And we have to do it together, because there's power in numbers. We need to get this man out, put him in a straitjacket, put him in solitary confinement until the day he fucking dies, and then bury him next to his ex-wife in the golf course. And he's going to have that big clown face, you know, in miniature golf, with his mouth wide open, so all of his cronies can drive by on their little carts, pay millions of dollars to be here, and try to put that ball right into his fucking mouth. What can I say? It's a vision in my head. Maybe that's my painting. Rest in peace, Donald Duck. Let's do something. Contact your Congress people. Contact the people in charge of your county. We've got to do something. We've got to do it now. There is no future if we don't do it.